Hello everyone, this is Video Games Noob, and today in this video I will be taking CaptianSparklez class that starts at 3 p.m. EST. And yeah, I think you all know CaptianSparklez. He's a famous Minecraft YouTuber with 10.8 mil subs. And I'll continue the recording when we get to when the class starts. Alright, so the class has started. I don't know how this will go. It's really laggy on my end. And yeah, it's muted. I'm gonna unmute it, and it's gonna be really cringy.
Although Minecraft is an educational game, you can learn about binary programming, things like that. But anyway, yeah, I'm Jordan, CaptianSparklez on YouTube. I've played Minecraft for a very long time. It's coming up on about 10 years, so since the very beginning with Alpha. And today I'm just going to be showing you a few tips and tricks. Maybe some of you who are coming from watching my videos regularly, live streams and such, it might be familiar for you. But hopefully there will be one thing thrown in that might be new for you. Even if you learn one thing, hopefully it'll help you with playing the game a bit. So can give you a little outline of what we're going to be checking out today. And then after that, we'll jump into the game and run through it. So we'll start off by, that's why I'm here in this snowy biome, which you can't see, but you will in just a moment. We're going to create a hidden base using scaffolding. We're going to then go into a little tip for mining where you can collect only the items that you want, not fill up your inventory with junk. Then we'll go to the nether without having to mine any obsidian, something you could do if you wanted to jump in earlier in the game. Then in the nether, a little tip to keep cool while you might be fighting blazes. A little tip for looting bastions, which are a new addition to 1.16. And that's why a lot of this will be focused on nether stuff, is because 1.16 was just recently released. So I figure it's a good thing to focus on. Then we'll go and we'll mine some ancient debris safely. And finally, just a little tip on getting yourself through the top of the nether so that if you want to build, say, a gold farm or just travel around on a nice rock surface to your different portals, you can do that. So anyway, I guess we'll jump into the game after a brief pause to get transitioned over, and I'll see you in just a moment.
Oh god, what is this? Okay, so this is all 1.16 stuff. I didn't know that. And yeah, now we're transition time. Oh, we're back. That's nice.
All right. Back to the normal camera layout that you guys are used to. First things first, a little bonus tip, because you're going to see me doing it quite a bit throughout our little session here, is new in 1.16. There's an easy way to switch between game modes, assuming that you've started your world with commands enabled. So if you hit F3 and hold it down, and then you start clicking F4, you can toggle through the different game modes. And conveniently, if you just quickly tap F3, F4, you can switch between your most recent game modes. So survival, creative, much easier than having to type it and recall in the chat. So you'll see me doing this a lot today. So anyway, we'll start off by doing a little hidden base here with scaffolding. So maybe you're playing on a server with some friends, you got some valuables, you don't want them to steal it. So if you happen to come across a snowy biome, you can get yourself some scaffolding here, and you can use it in conjunction with the snow in order to create a hidden location. So first you're going to want to mine yourself a little bit of snow, probably do it away from the area where your base is going to be, so you're not giving away that you're doing something. Craft them into some snow layers, and that's what you're going to use to cover the top. So I've already gone and pre-dug myself a little hole down here. It's not very polished or anything like that. It's just lit up so the mobs aren't spawning, and we're going to take our scaffolding, build it up. You can overshoot, doesn't really matter. Climb back up here, break the extra pieces on top, and then just remember where you put that. Otherwise, you might have trouble accessing it in the future, but you can make sure it's this square right here. Now we can get centered and shift on down. Now in here, we have a bunch of ores that I've set up. This is not what you'd actually run into if you were playing the game. But what I recommend doing is once you've mined some stuff and gotten a bit of a start to your inventory, if you want to stop just collecting all of the diorite and the andesite and all the stone that you run into while you're, say, digging out a strip mine and it's clogging up your inventory, what you can do is take some of the existing resources that you've already got. Say you've got a few diamonds. You're going to spread them apart in your inventory, as well as take some iron, spread it apart in your inventory, take some gold. Kind of do it by a proportion of how much of each resource you think you're going to collect. So you're probably not going to get that many diamonds. You're probably going to get a lot of coal, though. So we'll spread the coal out a bit. And so now our inventory is only going to accept the blocks that we want. So when I mine out this andesite here, it's just going to stay on the ground. I'm not going to pick it up. So I don't have to worry about it clogging up my inventory. Same with the cobblestone. Maybe you want...
I mean, I probably would have known that if I had a big brain, but I don't, so... Wasn't as helpful as I thought it would be, but it's still nice.
So we're at a desert biome now with a surface lava pool.
It's gonna do the quick lava trick, I already know it.
Run. This is kind of the ideal thing you want to find to get into the nether. And if you're doing a speed run, you don't want to go and have to mine yourself diamonds and then mine yourself obsidian and make a portal that way. You want to use a little mechanic that'll allow you to just quickly get a portal off the bat, even while you're on the surface only a few minutes into the game. So let's get ourselves a bucket. You're going to need a bucket for it. You'll want some blocks so that you can build the outline for your portal. You're kind of going to mold it. And if you want to get iron really quickly, if you have a village nearby, you can punch an iron golem. Just make sure you're 4 blocks high. Otherwise, he'll do bad things to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig down a couple blocks here. And this is basically, we're outlining our portal. And we're not using corners. And I'll switch back into survival mode. So then we're going to build up another 4 blocks here, or 3 blocks up from the ground. 2, 3. And then from there, we can come in by 1. Then we can go up another. And then we do the same thing on the other side. 2, 3. Come in, up, and then there. And then from there, we want to just prevent the water from actually going into the lava pool over here, so we're going to just kind of block it off a little bit with some of our dirt blocks there. I prefer to use dirt because if we use sand, which is in the desert, you wouldn't be able to build this. You'd have to use another block for it. And we're just opening this up so I can see it better. Next up, you want to place your water up.
If you guys have watched any of Dream's videos, which I have, he's done a quick portal strat. It's probably quicker than this one. I don't know how to do it because I'm not good at video games, but yeah, there is a way to make it faster than doing this.
We got a blaze spawner, and obviously you need this if you want to get blaze rods that you can combine with, or turn into blaze powder combined with ender pearls in order to get your stronghold end portal filled in and find the stronghold. But a little tip with that is, in case you don't have fire resistance, I would always recommend having a shield. So I'm going to put the shield in my offhand slot there. But say you miss with your shield, you don't protect yourself when the blazes are shooting, what you can do is, even though you cannot put water down in the nether, doesn't work. If I wasn't in creative right now, it would simply empty my bucket, so wouldn't do much for us there. We'll grab the other water bucket here. What you can do, on the other hand, is you can place down a cauldron, and you can fill the cauldron with water. And this way, blazes on both sides of us. If you do get lit on fire, which we'll let him do on purpose, I can actually jump into the cauldron. It can be a little bit hard to fine-tune, but I can get into the cauldron and it will extinguish the fire. So there we go. Missed our shield again. I'm going to jump in. Unfortunately, each time you do it, it will actually consume a bit of the water inside the cauldron. But you could bring multiple water buckets if you wanted. And just a little lifeline in case you miss with your shield. Ideally, if you're farming blazes without having a fire resist potion, you'll want to have an enclosed one. So you can either enclose it yourself, by lighting up the torch, lighting up the spawner with torches, stopping them from spawning, or you might find one that's already kind of underground, surrounded by netherrack, but it's better off that way so they can't kind of fly around. But still, you can have this nearby and be a little bit of a lifeline for yourself on top of trying to block using a shield. And we're going to move over to a bastion. So these are new with 1.16. Maybe you're familiar with them. Maybe you've looted one. The issue is that the piglins, which have replaced well, they're new, and then the zombified piglins have replaced the pigmen in the nether. They get mad at just about anything. If you open a chest, they get mad at you. You open your own chest that you put down, they get mad at you. You open a shulker box, they get mad at you. You break a block of gold, they get mad at you. Sometimes they just get mad at you for no reason. We're in 1.16.1, so the piglin brutes aren't here yet. They pose another problem that unfortunately have to deal with when that happens. Since we're on Java, though, they're not in yet, other than the snapshot. Those guys are mad no matter what. They're always angry, and if you hit them, the other piglins are also angry. Anyway, that said, you're going to want to have gold armor. If you're in the nether, I'll give myself some right now. That way, when you're in survival mode, they won't be mad at you by default. They'll ignore you until you do something like loot a chest or break a block of gold. So we have a chest here. If I open it, it's going to be bad news for me. What I want to do instead is, this is why I have a hopper here, which is named differently in my texture pack. Don't worry about it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the hopper underneath the chest. And this way, it's going to funnel the items out of the chest. So we have gilded blackstone, protection 2 diamond chestplate, and 5 gold ingots. I could also break the spawner over there if I wanted to. But this way, I'm able to actually loot that chest without doing anything that's going to anger any of the piglins. So it's just a helpful tip, because you can open up a hopper and it's not a problem. Now, the only other issue is your inventory might start to fill up here. So what's the best way to solve that? Well, if you have a shulker box, which would mean you're doing this later in the game, which is probably wise, actually, given that we have the piglin brutes coming and they're going to be pretty difficult to deal with. So I would recommend having good gear if you're going to tackle one of these, especially with the piglin brutes. So you can put down your shulker box. You don't want to open it. They'll get mad at that. You can put down the hopper on top, and then from there you can fill it with whatever else you have. It takes a second, obviously, because it has to go through each item individually. Keep some of the dirt in our inventory. That stuff will funnel in. And then when you're done, again, don't open the hopper. This is why I have a piston on me. And also don't break it. If you break the shulker box, they get mad at you too. Just like if you break the chest, they also get mad. They're tripped off by a bunch of things. But what you can do is you can break the shulker box using a piston. So if we go like that, it'll actually break it. And now we've got our shulker box back in a way where the piglins are not angry. So a bunch of roundabout annoying things that you have to do in order to loot this safely. But at the end of the day, it can be worth it depending upon your level of gear and all that stuff. That said, if you want to get the gold, there is unfortunately no great way to solve the situation other than to just seal yourself in and then hope that either they don't notice or that you just have a safe place when they are angry, because their anger will wear off soon enough, within a couple minutes. So if you just block yourself in, which they'll see this because it has an exposed face there, but they won't be able to get inside. So now we'd be able to loot the gold here relatively safely, because now, even though the piglins are... Whoops, forgot the top. We got one inside. We're going to have to take him out. There we go. Fortunately, they don't have too much health, but we can block that off. And now they can't get inside, and eventually they will no longer be mad, and we'll be good to escape. You just kind of have to listen for the sounds, listen for them to not be angry anymore, and then as long as you're still wearing your gold, which you should be, given how much you've just looted in here, you'll be good to leave. And give you some tips on how to mine for ancient debris. Obviously, ancient debris is now the big new addition when it comes to 1.16. It's an upgrade to diamond that you can add to your armor through the smithing table. And what you want to be able to do when you're mining for ancient debris is you want to find an area preferably around y equals 15 in the nether, that is pretty unobstructed. You don't want to be running into lava lakes. You don't want to be running into open areas. And that can be a bit difficult to predict with all the lava that you run into when you're in the nether. So what you want to do is, it's a bit hacky, and it could potentially be patched at some point, but you don't have to actually, you're not doing anything illegal, you're not using commands, you're not doing anything like that. All you need to have is a piston, a composter, and a lever or button. The lever is preferable just because it can keep the piston extended. Put down the composter, get inside the composter, put the piston over your head, put the lever over there, and there you go. It's great. Perfectly legit. Yep. So anyway, using this, you're able to look around and see where a safe space will be for you to be able to mine ancient debris. Ancient debris is pretty rare to find. It only generates in like a couple veins per chunk. And so knowing that you're not going to run into dangerous things like lava pools is a good thing. So when you do this and you see nothingness, basically, that's a good sign. Now, these guys are they're out beyond where the chunks are loading stuff properly, but if you get down below and you look out and you basically just see nothingness, that means it's a good spot. It's mostly solid blocks, and then you'll see little openings like this. Those are little lava pools. They're lava source blocks that are scattered throughout the nether. You can't really avoid those. You'll run into them when you're mining, but at the same time, it's better than running into a lava lake and having to turn around or actually getting burned. So then just break the piston in order to retrieve it. Break everything, you can carry it around with you, and then when you reach a bad spot where you think you've run into a lava lake, when you're mining for the ancient debris, then you can simply use that in order to find a different direction. I'm going to mine down a little bit, and we're going to go in the opposite direction. We're going down right now. We'll go up to the top after we're done here. I don't recommend mining straight down in the nether. We're in creative, so it's fine. I'm just using this to get down quickly, but that can happen to you. In fact, it's very likely to happen to you, and it's not going to go very well. So now, say we're down here at, you want to be standing around y equals 14 is your ideal place to do this. One more down from there. Cool. Now what we'll do is we'll set up the composter thing here, get inside, break the block next to us, put it on top, get the lever down, put the lever, and looks pretty clear. Looks good. No issues here. Good to go. So what you're going to do is you're going to mine a few blocks in front of you. Again, you'd be doing this with armor, presumably. Don't forget to take off an elytra, which I've done before. If you're doing something like this, don't forget to put on your chest plate. You can take off your gold helmet, put on a diamond one. Since we're in creative, it doesn't really matter, but you're going to place a bed down. Beds in the nether explode. So then you might get knocked back a little bit, but you kind of want to click as you're backing up. It'll clear out a spot here. Okay, there's some lava there, no big deal. You can either just clear the source block out, or you could pick a different direction and just kind of keep it going. And then eventually, doing this, it'll be a little bit slower when you're in survival, because you got to be just a little bit more careful, but you get back up to y equals 14, put down another bed, blow it up, and you just kind of keep going until you find the amount of stuff that you need, which is, it's quite a bit of ancient debris. You need 4 ancient debris to get a single netherite ingot, so you're going to be working at it for quite some time. But eventually, and I've done it several times now, you will get enough in order to get yourself a set of netherite gear. We haven't gotten lucky so far here, but eventually, because the netherite or the ancient debris does not explode, it's blast resistant, so you don't have to worry about it blowing up when you blow up the beds. Keep going at it. Eventually, it should reveal, there we go. So there's an ancient debris. When you mine it, just be sure to check the diagonals, because sometimes there can be an extra one. The veins can be anywhere from 1 to, I've seen a 3 before, though that's really rare, but 2 is pretty common. So up here, we just want to get basically as high up as we can until we're at the very, very top, which should be right there. Right about 125, because 126 is where the top of the bedrock is. And then I'll switch into survival here. So I'm just going to place a couple blocks below me. You want to get right up against it. And you could have a ladder or something, actually, if you wanted to stand on it. It doesn't really matter as long as you're right up against this. Go into survival mode. You got to have some ender pearls. And then what you're going to do is just throw through. It can take a couple tries sometimes, but eventually you should make it through. Just let your health regen, because obviously as you're doing it, it's going to take down your hearts when you're using the ender pearls, but you kind of aim at the corner, and eventually you should make it through. We got an endermite that just spawned for us here. I'm choking on live video right now. Come on. You can do it for me. You can do it for me, game. You got this. It doesn't want to go. It's very embarrassing.
Ow.
This is very embarrassing. I've done this a million times, actually. For some reason, right here, does not want to. There we. I thought I had it. Hold on. Kind of want to jump as you're doing it.
6. Use 6 pearls. 7.
Wow. This is impressive. I might switch into creative. It's still the same mechanics. I just won't have to worry about my hearts going down. But I'm not giving myself a very good impression as a teacher here. Let's do this.
Very professional.
There we go. Now it worked. All right. I just had to switch into creative. But again, it does actually work for you. Just be careful of an endermite spawning and getting stuck under you. If you don't notice it, you'll start taking damage. But anyway, now you're on top of the nether, and you could build a gold farm. That's a pretty extensive structure, so recommend looking up tutorials if you want to figure out how to build that. But you can do something like a portal network up here. If you have obsidian, what you can do is you'll never enter the nether in a portal. If you enter from the overworld getting into the nether, it'll never drop you at a portal that's above the bedrock. However, you can exit the nether using a portal that's above the bedrock. So if you have an easy way to get up here, you have a ladder, you can use this as a way to travel so that if you want to get to, say, your end portal or something, and the inside the nether is like treacherous terrain, you don't want to deal with either flying there with an elytra or making an ice boat path, what you can do is you can get up to the surface, get your coordinates from the end portal, divide them by 8, and that'll get you the coordinates in the nether. And then the Y value doesn't matter as much, so you'll just go over here. Obviously, of course, you have it, but in the beginning of the game, it's a bit of a luxury. You're going to still have a flint and steel, presumably, and not have thrown it away like I did earlier. Light the portal, and then it'll take you back into the overworld. But when you go back through... Huh. That's new, actually. I haven't had a portal that takes me into the part on the roof. All right. Well, I guess I've learned something new today, unless that was new with 1.16. But usually it spawns a new portal actually within the standard Y value range underneath the bedrock. Unless that's true.
I like how CaptianSparklez didn't even know that when he's the teacher. That's nice.
You would have to go back, come to this area, either devise a strategy to get through the bedrock, if you wanted to be able to get down below and explore the nether in this area, but or back if you wanted to get through the nether over in your other area, you'd have to build another portal on top of the bedrock there, or you'd have to use a technique with trees in order to break through the bedrock so you can access it easily, because you can't actually ender pearl back through. You can only ender pearl up and not down. So anyway, that said, different things that you can do there, but that is using the top of the nether as a bit of a travel network. And that's our final tip for today's lesson. Feels weird calling a Minecraft stream a lesson, but
Okay, so the class is done. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'm sorry if the webcam for CaptianSparklez was a little glitchy, but enjoy the video. Thanks for all the subscribers that I've had recently and all the recent support. Bye!